Bo versus Ambrose?
Yeah, nothing really much to say here. Ambrose gets the rebound lariat and then the dirty deeds, to end the match, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Ambrose wins.
I'd like to point out that during this match, we had dueling chants that were very interesting to me. It was, "Let's go, Ambrose, we believe."
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted proof of Chicago's sheer smarkiness, this was probably it right here. The idea that there was a dueling chant during a Dean Ambrose matchup, which I'll admit did take me aback a bit. Because I thought it's Dean freaking Ambrose. How are you going to have dueling chants, especially when the opposition's Bo Dallas? But It happened. So there you go.
Bo also cut a promo about the Rusev Ziggler segment where he talked about bad things happen to bad people and good things happen to good people. Good people like me. And then he was, all you have to do. And then the crowd went, is Bo leave? And then he went, is Bo leave? Like, the crowd was super into Bo.
Yeah, your inflection with like me.
Like me.
What a douche nozzle. Alright, what happened?
You know what's funny though is that like this was actually, as pointless as it was, this was the most enjoyable of the pointless matches that we got tonight. Because like Bo did an unnecessarily premature victory lap in the ring.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I like you said, this was pointless, but it was still entertaining.
And I think the crowd really made it so. They seem more invested in this than the other pointless matches we got.
Right. I mean, I honestly, I feel like even if without the crowd, I probably still would have enjoyed this match just because Bo is just always so amazing at hamming it up, and I'm just such a big fan of Ambrose.
Right.
And it was cool to see Ambrose kind of gain some of his credibility back too, because like I feel like he's been on a losing streak big time over the course of the last couple months. And now he gets just a quick win under his belt, proves that he's clearly a notch or two or three or four maybe above Bo Dallas. And, no harm was done here to Bo because he, his gimmick is going to kind of protect him from everything. So yeah, it just works.
Definitely, man. I can't argue with any of the points you made. Again, Ambrose gets the win. Chicago seemed to have fun, and that's all you can really say about it. So what came after this?
Another clip of J&J Security driving through Chicago. It's funny because they show the very ending of the clip of them at Wrigley Field where they're kind of pulling out of their parking spot, and then they cut to them just stuck in rush hour traffic. And that's the last we see of this segment.
Yeah, just enjoying that Cadillac all across Chicago.
Yeah, like the only real progression that we got here was that we got to see that they have a camo stripe across the bottom of this car. They have a J&J Security logo. The stickers are still in the back window, and they got modified tailpipes put on it.
That's awesome.
Jamie Noble managed to turn this into a heck wagon in under a week.
Respect.
All right, up next was Barrett Truth, and literally the only note that I have for this match is, who cares? Barrett wins, finally.
Yeah, that was pretty much my mental note, too. I mean, I would have redacted the who cares and just said, finally Barrett wins. That was my note. Because he hits the bullhammer. It's interesting to note that this is, again, his third straight victory on a Monday Night Raw. I know he beat Zack Ryder 1 week. I don't know who he beat the second week, though. I'm trying to remember. And then, R-Truth this week. So he is kind of establishing a little mini winning streak. I just wish that it mattered. Yeah, I just wish that it was translating into something. But
you're the king of the ring. Oh, that's awesome. What do I get out of it? You're going to lose a lot. Well, I don't know if I want this at all. Oh, yeah, and you're also going to start coming down to the ring with a cape and a scepter. Why would I want to do that?
That is a shockingly good Barrett impression.
You're going to do it because we told you to, Wade. Don't call me Wade. I'm bad news.
Yeah, well, the bad news for you is either you do it or you get your walking papers. Now put the damn cape on. But, yeah. Wade gets the win.
And you people wonder why CM Punk walked out.
It's really sad when a man impersonating Bad News Barrett is actually better than Bad News Barrett's career itself. But yeah, beats R-Truth, gets the win. I don't know what Barrett does after this. I don't really care, and it's a shame that I say that because You know, it was only a few years ago that I felt like I was a really big fan of Barrett, but his stock has just fallen so far. Like, that's what I hate about so many of the talented mid-card guys. It seems like their stock will really take like a huge violent dip, and then you stop caring, and then they start like growing again, and you start putting your investment back in, only for them to dip again. I'm kind of worried about that with one prospect, which we'll get to later. But with Barrett, I mean, that's just his current nightmarish reality. Maybe he'll find a way out, but in the end, the question
Is the person you're worried about Kevin Owens?
No.
Oh, okay. Who is it?
It's Cesaro, actually, but we'll get to that a bit later. But, you know, the real question you should be asking yourself isn't if Barrett can really do anything after this. It's, does it even matter? Because that's really what I got to ask myself now. But, yeah, I guess a harmless enough match. He finally beats Truth, which is really nothing to be proud of, and that's the matchup.
Yeah. So, up next, John, I want you to know, I only have one line as a note for this.
Right.
And that one line is actually only 3 words. Brock versus Cadillac.
Ah. Yeah.
Seth Rollins comes out with J&J Security, and they've all got friggin' axe handles. Not even axes, just the handles. Getting ready to beat down Brock Lesnar, because Rollins had a little bit of like a pep talk with Triple H earlier, and Triple H is just like, yeah, Seth, you gotta call him out. He's in an emotional state right now. You can take advantage of that. Rollins was just like, yeah, I'm gonna call out the beast. And so they did. And then Rollins went as far as to say that he was Paul Heyman's bitch. And then Brock comes out, and he's just kind of chilling at the top of the ramp. And then he looks over to Paul Heyman and tells him to come out. And Paul Heyman brings out the fire hazard box, I guess you could call it, that has like the fire extinguishers in it. And he gets 2 actual axes out of it. And I mean, commentary said it best here. It's a good thing the guys in the ring are wearing dark pants, because I would have absolutely crapped myself. And yeah, but rather than taking his anger out on the people, Brock decides to take his anger out on the Cadillac.
Yeah, before I get into that, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to move on until I comment that I love your excited Seth Rollins impression.
Yeah!
I'm going to call out the beast!
I'm going to call him out, guys!
You sounded like a kid on a Little League team in the championship game. Like, yeah, guys, I'm finally going to get that home run, and he totally chokes him. The team hates him for life.
You want to talk about a home run?
Yeah.
I'll hit a grand slam.
But yeah, I just had to comment that I don't know why, it just tickled me pink.
Seth Rollins is kind of like halfway between Scott Steiner and Alpha 5 from Power Rangers.
I don't even know who Alpha 5 is.
From Power Rangers.
Oh my god, I'm so old.
The little robot dude.
Oh yeah.
That guy.
Yeah, I always wanted to unplug him. Regardless.
But you are familiar with him.
Yeah.
That's what really matters here.
Yeah.
No, but what really matters here is Brock went just absolutely ham on this Cadillac. The first thing he did was actually use one of the axes to break through the driver's side door, and he actually, in doing so, got the axe stuck inside the car door. So then he was like, oh, well, I can't get it out. I'm not going to waste time trying. I'm just going to get the other axe that I got out of the fire hazard box. And he breaks the window, and in doing so, he actually threw the axe into the car, which he then has to pull back out. And then he breaks the rear windshield, and then he just kind of tries to chop open the trunk, and then he literally tears off the back driver's side door, and then he throws it into the crowd, and from what I understand, the door actually hit somebody in the crowd.
Yeah, I'm starting to, and I hate to say this about Brock because I love him to death, I'm starting to wonder if he's not becoming a bit more of a liability.
No,
between
see,
breaking
dude, here's
Jamie
my
Noble's
thing.
ribs and hitting a fan.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. But, I guess what I was going to say is, I don't know for sure if the door hit a fan, but I'm guessing it did because when he threw the door, the camera actually cut to the ring to see Rollins and Noble and Mercury's reactions rather than us being able to see him throw it. And then when they showed the replay later, they showed him throwing it into the crowd, and it looked like it was headed straight for someone in the crowd. But then they cut away before it actually did anything.
Yeah, Lesnar is a freak of nature, and
Yeah.
in one way, like, that just shows you the upside of Brock Lesnar, because the two incidents, again, breaking the ribs, and then especially the door chucking, that's what I really want to focus on here, just shows you what a phenomenal athlete this guy is to have that kind of power. But, I don't know,
Well, and
man,
dude,
like,
if you want to talk about athleticism with Brock Lesnar, after he kind of gets done trashing the car, Noble and Mercury come out of the ring and up the ramp to try and attack him. And he beats the crap out of both of them, breaks Jamie Noble's arm with a Kimura lock, and that kind of gets him out of the segment. So he doesn't really have to work with Brock anymore to break any more ribs. And then he German suplexes Joey Mercury into the windshield of the car. And then he starts walking towards Seth. And about halfway down the ramp, he starts running, jumps from the ground to the apron in one leap, and then from the apron over the ropes in another. And by the time he gets in the ring, Rollins is like, oh my God, I'm going to die. He sees his life flash before his eyes while going under the bottom rope and escaping through the crowd. I've literally never seen somebody run upstairs as fast as Rollins did tonight.
yeah, I mean, again, breaking Jamie Noble's arm, which I thought was kind of hilarious, because he just sunk like a stone after that. He's like, well, I'm done. The belly-to-belly overhead to Mercury, like, on the windshield.
Yeah, that looked brutal. It looked like he hit his head on the actual,
Yeah,
like on
Lesnar,
the hood of the car.
I'm telling you, man, like, Lesnar don't give no
He
fucks.
really doesn't. And what are they going to do? They can't fire him. They just gave him a 3-year, $50 billion contract, as far as I'm concerned.
I know, like, they have to follow through on it now. I mean, they just made such a huge investment.
They're not going to stop using the biggest draw in professional wrestling right now.
This is probably what anyone with any semblance of job security fantasizes about doing with it.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
how far can I push the envelope today without getting fired? Oh, I know. Let me chuck this car door to fan's face.
No, and you know what? To reword it to make it sound even worse, let me chuck this car door into the face of this customer
Yeah,
that
really.
paid me money to be here.
And then he can wake up and he can blog about it. Oh my God, guys! I just got hit indirectly by Brock Lesnar. It was so cool.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be blogging from the hospital bed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm still contemplating whether or not to sue, but man, that was awesome.
I think if he gives me an autograph, I'll drop the charges.
But, yeah, then because Rollins hightails it, because now he's going to tour Chicago on foot with how scared he is, Lesnar poses with Rollins as championship
Yeah, I mean,
title.
it's 12:30 in the morning on Tuesday morning, and I'm pretty sure Seth Rollins is still roaming the streets of Chicago trying to find a way home.
He's probably still looking over his shoulder every 10 seconds like, okay, Brock still isn't behind me. I'm good. I just keep running just to be safe.
And he's just like, I really want to say I lost him, but every time somebody says that in a movie, that's when the guy shows up, so I'm not going to say it. Just keep running, Seth. Just keep running.
He's not going to be able to cackle for a week with how much air he's wasting from running, but then oh God, I think I'm dead now. But
it just goes from like heavy breathing to like a wheezing cackle, like he's just trying to force it out, and it's just not happening because he's got no air left in his lungs to give.
But then I don't know why. I guess I was in a really weird mood tonight. I guess I always am when we interact with each other and we're watching wrestling, because then Brock takes the axe handle that Rollins didn't even use. He
just shoves it in the window.
He shoves it in the window as if to say, "Fuck your insurance provider."
Literally.
And then he stands on top of the hood of the car, and then for whatever reason, I don't know, it just again put a smile on it. You see Heyman bowing to Lesnar as if, you see what I'm doing, folks? I'm surviving. That's what this is.
And dude, like, it's almost like it makes you wonder if the only reason Heyman is Brock Lesnar's advocate is because of what's it called? That syndrome where like you're scared and
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome, yeah. Like that's the only reason Heyman has been with Lesnar for this long is because he knows that if he tries to leave Lesnar, Lesnar will find him and kill him in the dark.
I don't know. Maybe like with each bow, he was kind of communicating a secret message to the audience, like, "Please, somebody help me." Yeah. Like he knows where I live.
Although, I mean, it is worth noting that this kind of plays off the first segment of the night where Heyman used his words to deify Lesnar.
Right, yeah, of course.
I mean, now he's using his actions to do the same thing.
I love it, man. I love it.
It's amazing.
Again, I don't know if Lesnar is fully recovered because I know none of us were a fan of like that gang up beatdown that happened to him, but he's definitely back on the right track. This was some great stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. This is good.
Honestly, dude, and I don't know if this is me just putting too much stock in Lesnar, but I don't know if you were kind of thinking the same thing. Somebody must have, otherwise I'm going to feel really weird and alone. I was waiting for him to tip that car over with his bare hands.
I know, dude. Yeah. I mean, well, he
Underneath.
freaking tore one of the doors off. I was waiting for him to tear the other three off, and then the trunk lid and the hood, and just see how many objects he could strip off the car before it's light enough for him to lift it up over his head and German suplex the whole thing.
I know, oh, dude. The power of Brock Lesnar. Yeah, this was a great segment, and again, like
This felt like the end of Raw.
Yeah, it really
but then we
did.
had an hour of amazingness left still.
I know. I can't wait to get to it. But what came after this?